All right. All right. Enough bullshit. Breaking down Bears Been content. This is the Elliott in the Room, or should I say the Elliott in the Room live, episode 2. Sorry, me, Elliott. And what are we going to be talking about? Well, we are going to be talking about Spongebob Squarepants. Kind of an odd thing to be talking about as a grown-ass man, but bear with me. I am going to make it make sense. Now, before I continue, if you like what I have to say, if you like the things that come out of my mouth, if you just hate me but want to watch the video and talk shit in the meantime, that's perfectly fine. Matter of fact, you can do that during the live stream and all the shit. I'm totally fine with that. But make sure that you hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe. Go ahead and hit that follow. Go ahead and click that notification bell so you can be kept up to date with all the things that I've got going on, yada, yada, etc. The same thing everyone else says, I got to say it too, right? Okay, cool. So, all that being said, let's move on to the topic at hand. Before I even get into that, I want to talk about what inspired this topic. Okay, so I have been in a grumpy mood for the last couple of weeks for a variety of reasons. I'm not going to go into all that, but the point is that I am on a very, 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 what do you say? Everyone's on a short leash with me. That's how I'll put that. And things that aren't necessarily that big of a deal will rub me the wrong way to the point of pissing me off, to the point of making me want to slap the absolute shit out of you. And if you're a woman then since I don't have that option, my brain is locked into just talking cash shit to you, right? But in certain circumstances, in certain situations, obviously you can't say what you really feel, because what you say can get you fired, especially at work, right? So 2 days in a row now, there's been some ridiculous form of miscommunication between myself and my employer. And when I say ridiculous form of miscommunication, it is ridiculous. It's one of those things to where I'm not going to go into detail, but when I say it's ridiculous, it is ridiculous. If you don't know what 7 Shifts is, because that's what we use, 7 Shifts is a online scheduling and employee portal type of thing where you can see your schedule and you can release shifts and change shifts, and you can communicate with management, communicate with other team members, so on and so forth. So on 7 Shifts, communication is pretty simple. You see the person's full name, you see what they say, and then you see the timestamp and all the shit. It's like literally every other form of online communication out there, right? So when I say stupid miscommunication, I mean, how dumb can things be? If things are written in absolute English, proper English, matter of fact, written eloquently in a way where it's very hard to misunderstand what I'm saying, and yet you still misunderstand what I'm saying to the point of agitating me, right? And it's tricky because obviously when people, especially people in power and people that are above you, agitate you, you have options, right? You have the natural option, which is just to let them know how fucking stupid they are. And then there's the real option, which is to just let it go. It's hard to let things go, though, for me when I'm already in fuck you mood, right? And I'm not trying to be in fuck you mood because that's not where my default lies. I am normally a very kind, sweet, genuine, give the TEITR shirt off my back. Go ahead and get you one of those too. I'm gonna start selling these because this shit look nice. TEITR, baby. TEITR towards the finer things in life. That's TEITR, the Elliott in the Room. Anyway, I'm the type of guy that can get his shirt off my back, right? I'm the type of guy who actually cares. My empathy is fairly high. So when I get into this frame of mind of, I want to throw hands. When I get into that frame of mind, there's a reason for it. And it's normally not because I'm just a psychopath. Now, yes, there are moments where I'm a psycho, and sometimes I just go off the deep end. I'm better than nothing, okay? Yes, yes, yes. I'm human. But a lot of times, my agitation stems from something legitimate, okay? As I get older, I find less room to just allow stupid shit to exist. And I know stupid things are everywhere, 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 everywhere in our life. And you can't prevent other people from being stupid, but you can absolutely have an opinion about it. And that's where things get tricky, because if you voice your opinion, you're now risking things depending on what that opinion is and who it's about. Okay. What do they say? Play stupid games, right? But it's like when you're dealing with stupid people, it's almost like everything's a stupid game. And then when people are above you and they're not necessarily stupid, but they just maybe like just do something dumb. We're all human, right? Things happen. But like right now, my we're all human, things happen. My that meter that has grace for human beings, ooh, that boy low. Like one touch kill type shit. Like one more touch towards my feelings, I might type shit. Like, but anyway. So that made me start thinking about what I said yesterday, which is every single time my job pisses me off, I go put in a bunch of applications. And that's what I did again today. Every time I get annoyed with my job, I just say, fuck that. I'm going to hop on Indeed. I'm going to hop on Craigslist. I'm going to hop on ZipRecruiter. I'm going to hop on all the shits. And I'm just going to apply for stuff that I do not qualify for. I'm just applying. You know why? Because hitting apply and then hitting send resume, whatever the fuck the button says, and just getting that little slight dopamine hit of them saying we received your resume, your application, and then that little email you get that's like, hey, buddy, we got it. It's just a little brief dopamine hit just to remind me that, hey, I don't give a fuck and I'm not stuck. Now, granted, it may never lead to nothing. They may never hit me back because I may not be qualified for the job that I'm applying for, but that's neither here nor there. I try to remind myself as often as possible that you're not stuck. But sometimes it feels like we are stuck in life because we put ourselves in predicaments that are what they are once they are what they are. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm an adult. I had a child when I was a child. So at 18, at 19, I became a father. Not technically a child, but you get what I mean. Now I'm 38. So I am 100% different than who I was at 19. My perspective is different. A lot of that is colored by the things that have happened over the last 19 years, blah, blah, blah. But the person that I am today is a combination of various versions of myself that have had to be broken down and rebuilt and remodeled and so on and so forth. It's almost like every new iteration of me is the 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, etc., right? So on whatever version I am today, this version of me is crafted from the fire that I've been through, right? Considering that is my origin story, and considering that I have put so much effort and emphasis into just trying to be a good father, blah, 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 yada, yada. I've already been through that, right? My early years up until now were honed in on certain things and limited by certain things. So you get to the point to where I am today, and I'm doing all right. You know, my skill set's decent. I have the ability to get certain jobs because of the fact that I know how to do certain things. All that's cool. But certain passions I wasn't able to fully flesh out, and certain passions I wasn't able to fully uh, get into simply because I didn't have the time, or I didn't have the means, or I had to think about the feelings of my child's mother, or just whatever, right? So when you take all that in consideration, and then you say today, where you at? You're 38 years old. You look at the past, you look at everything, and then you weigh it out and you say, okay, well, I don't know if I have 38 more years in front of me. I hope I do, right? But as of right now, I've lived quite a bit of life. So, what is the next step? Well, hopefully, the next step is a level up. Hopefully, the next step is pursuing my goals and actually obtaining them. But the overall point is I never really gave myself a choice. I never really gave myself a chance. And now I'm sitting at a point where things have been shaken up, and then my eyes are looking at everything and I'm saying, okay, this is the life that I've created for myself. My successes and failures and mistakes and all the things that I've been through, this is where I'm at today. And although I do have a ton of options and I do have, in my opinion, a great foundation, I got a great family, all the things. Um, there's been a lot of time that has been maybe I won't say misused, but misallocated, and that's kind of why today I am looking at everything kind of from a different lens. Today I'm looking at it like, yo, I could die right now. I could die in 5 seconds. I could die tomorrow. I could die, and it's true. And all that's true. Not to be pessimistic, but it's true. And it really genuinely makes me think about what I want. Wants, desires, needs, the happiness that we as human beings naturally deserve. I mean, we're put on this earth and we're told, hey, live. And before you die, try to achieve something. But when you gone, you gone. So, I mean, it is what it is. Create a family, build a family. But if anything happens to you, they're devastated. If anything happens to them, you're devastated. So you've created potential you've created potential wounds for everybody involved just because everyone decided to be part of a family, which is just part of life, right? You find love, the love of your life could get hit by a bus, right? That sucks. That's sad, right? But it's literally a part of life. You have kids, your kids can grow up to be Jeffrey Dahmer. Hey, 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 right? My point, just bringing it around town. Bringing it around town. So SpongeBob on my SpongeBob, bringing it around town. My point is at a certain point, you get to a certain age, and depending on what you've obviously it just depends on the person and the situation, but I'll speak for myself. I got to a certain point, I'm at a certain age now to where I won't say the magic's gone, but almost everything that's supposed to be whistles and bells and shiny with frills, I just see bullshit. The music industry, the entertainment business, period, streaming, all this stuff is I'm not saying it's bullshit because it's bad. What I'm saying is that it's all just, like we're all just trying our absolute best to pacify ourselves in the meantime. And for some of us go to work, we work hard, we do what we got to do. And it seems like everything's harder for us than for those around us. Or maybe we work hard and it's overlooked and others don't work as hard or maybe work way worse. But for some reason, you're lumped into the same group. Like real life is really, really, really uninteresting. It's not sexy. Like no one prepares you for how boring and just mundane real life can be. And that's what brings me around to this whole idea that SpongeBob is a great representation of adulthood in in general, right? It's it's interesting because okay, so that's why I titled it what I titled it. I look at myself and I say, okay, I understand where Squidward was coming from this whole time. Think about the concept of SpongeBob. SpongeBob follows SpongeBob SquarePants. He is a sponge that lives in a pineapple under the sea. His best friend is Patrick Star, a starfish. SpongeBob lives in a pineapple. His pet's name is Gary. He works at the Krusty Krab. His buddy Patrick pops up all the time. They have all types of little fun, little coinky dink adventures. The show is built around that. Cool. Squidward is kind of like the comic relief because his whole purpose is to be a punching bag or trauma porn for kids to laugh at because oh, look at this fucking dork. He wants to play his clarinet. Man, fuck you, bro. SpongeBob and Patrick are outside. Get your punk ass outside, right? And that's genuinely how everyone's always treated Squidward. But when you really think about it, think about the characters, right? Think about the characters. Think about the characters. SpongeBob. Let's go through this breakdown. SpongeBob. I'm not quite sure how old he's supposed to be, but number one, his optimism is acutely childlike, right? He's annoying. Like the way that he operates is highly unrealistic, but also if you worked with that guy, you'd want to beat him up. He's the one that would get beat up because he's just too he's just too much of that shit. Just too much of the can-do attitude, right? Because he's young as fuck. He's just young and he's just got all the energy to be a fucking idiot, right? He's so easily excitable. So he's so excited about everything. He's excited about his job. He's so again, he's young. Think about it. He's young. He's young. I look at SpongeBob and Patrick as the literal representations of young and dumb, right? For both of them. They're like peanut butter and jelly. They go together. They're both young and dumb. Okay. SpongeBob. He doesn't seem to understand why everyone else isn't as carefree and happy as he is. Well, no shit, bro. SpongeBob has to be, I'm gonna say, if I had to guesstimate ages, SpongeBob's definitely in his early 20s, if not late teens. Both him and Patrick, because he works, he has his own place, he's responsible, but just look at his outlook, right? Same thing with Patrick. Patrick is stupid dumb, and Patrick, he has no responsibilities, right? He's completely unaware of everything. He's blissfully unaware of everything possible. Okay, he lives in the moment always. He's always living in the moment, and he somehow always survives despite his terrible decision making. SpongeBob and Patrick are literally late teens, early adults. They're the people that you see at your job that work in the entry level position. They are completely useless. They have okay attitudes, but they're also massive fuck ups. But they trot around and they walk around and they're always nothing's serious. Everything's a joke. Everything's a joke. They have the highest level of main character symptom. They essentially represent the Gen Z kids of today. Those two, like, it's crazy. SpongeBob came out in 1999. Like, SpongeBob and Patrick literally represent the archetype for your current Gen Z being. I don't even know what you call these little motherfuckers, right? They're just beings, okay? So, like, okay, again, we're Squidward. As an adult, we're Squidward. So imagine SpongeBob. Imagine the last time Squidward was ever able to be like SpongeBob. Squidward has probably been on his grown man Dean for like a cool solid like 10 years at this point. Squidward probably ain't had the opportunity to just chill out in a hot minute. Squidward at this point is a real adult. Okay. He got bills. Like, yeah, SpongeBob and Squidward live in the same neighborhood. They don't live far apart. I feel like SpongeBob's parents bought his pineapple, right? And I feel like Squidward really got it out the mud. Like, I feel like Squidward came from humble ass beginnings. He probably grew up in the hood. Squidward actually probably grew up in the hood, if you think about it. Squidward is a square black nigga from the hood that tried to do the right thing, get up out. He ain't had no motion for real. All he had was book smarts. He had a dream. He was like, yo, I want to be a musician and I'm going to try to do my thing and I'm going to work hard and my ambition and my talent's going to get me where I got to get to. And then 10 years went by and that motherfucker's still at the Krusty Krab because it ain't no motion. He ain't got no motion. He's the most regular representation of adulthood possible. Most of your dreams are not going to come true. Let me say that again. Most of your dreams are not going to come true. That's not me being pessimistic or being an asshole. Most of us have these SpongeBob-esque aspirations to just all day, right? Everything's supposed to be a movie. You and your buddy Patrick are supposed to just constantly have endless adventures. You're supposed to just constantly be moving and grooving. And especially today with the social media, with this influencer shit, like young people today are basically walking around doing this all day, doing this all day. They're doing this all day because every last one of us have the same opportunities. And that's how it is today. Right? So that's basically what SpongeBob and Patrick do all day. They're just living it up, la 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 la, right? They outside making all this motherfucking noise. They're making all this noise outside of this grown-ass man's house. This man got it out the mud. It took a lot of work for him to go ahead and work hard enough to get enough to have a down payment for his crib. Squidward went through some real life shit to get his crib. Okay? Squidward is a grown ass fucking man, bro. And he got these young, stupid. SpongeBob and Patrick are the equivalent of the young motherfuckers outside slapping their music. They just bump it. Oh, SpongeBob. And my nigga's in the house just trying to live. He just want to have a little tea. He want to practice his clarinet, take a bubble bath or some shit. My nigga just trying to live. And he got these, SpongeBob, and then these motherfuckers be having the audacity to fucking trespass. But not even that, not even trespass. They be breaking into my man's house. His abode that he paid for, he put his money up. He put his money, all his hard work and aspirations over the course of however long it took for him to get that place. He worked hard as fuck for his crib. And here come these two little dumbasses breaking into his shit, fucking with him. Imagine if somebody just broke into your shit right now and started fucking with you. People you don't fuck with just start trolling you. Broke into your crib, messing with you. You just trying to have a little peace. You trying to have a little peace, and then to top it off, you work with one. Imagine one of the people that you don't like at your job. For whatever reason possible, thinking that y'all best friends. And that motherfucker got mental problems. So he really think y'all best friends. Like SpongeBob is 2 trillion% on the spectrum. 2 trillion%. So you got this nigga that got mental problems that think y'all best friends, who's goofy as shit, thinking that he could just bust in your crib with no motherfucking consequences at all. And you just trying to take a bubble bath. You're tired. You work at the Krusty Krab. You're the only employee there that's normal. Your boss is Mr. Krab. Imagine Imagine you're Squidward and your boss is Mr. Krabs. All that nigga cares about is me money. Me money. That's all he gives a fuck about. And that's all of them. That's all of the bosses. All the most you know how places are like, oh, we're a family. We're a family. We are a family. We're a family. We are a family. This is a family. Let me tell you something. When one of these companies tell you that you're a family, this is a family environment work. I hate the words culture. I hate all of that shit. These are just dog whistle words that over the years I've learned means run. Mr. Krabs, as good of a dude as he can be, if you get to that point, he'd sell you in a heartbeat. If he could get rid of you, it don't matter how long you work for Mr. Squidward's been working for Mr. Krabs for like 15 years. The moment it becomes more cost efficient to cop the AI that's going to do Squidward's job, it has to be cost efficient though, because he don't want to spend no money. So the moment the AI is cheaper than Squidward's gone. Gone. It don't matter how many. There's no advancement opportunities. There's been no Squidward's been working at the Krusty Krab for like a cool however many decades. Ain't no advance. Like, he ain't been offered the opportunity to be a manager or nothing. He's just on the register. And he putting in these orders for this dumbass. You know what? Yeah, Squidward also represents the front of house employee as well, now that I think about it. And this is no disrespect to none of my cooks, because there's a lot of cooks out there that are amazing, right? But there's a lot of cooks out there who work in the back of house who have no concept of what it's like to be the person actually dealing with the people. Squidward represents that front of house employee who's trying to keep it together. Motherfuckers is saying dumbass shit, and he's just like, anything else, sir? I don't want to say the wrong thing, sir, because I might get fired. He's literally the best representation of honesty, because he speaks the exact same thing that we speak and think when we are dealing with these motherfuckers. And people got the audacity to talk bad about Squidward. Squidward is the fucking GOAT. Are you kidding me? Squidward is literally doing everything he can to not snap on you niggas. Right? I see so much of Squidward in me and Squidward. Pause if necessary, because he works so hard and he is surrounded by the dumbest shit. The most ridiculous customer base. They allow Mr. Krabs to do what he does. They allow Krabs to charge for napkins and shit. They still come back for that Krabby Patty. They allow this dumb motherfucker in the back to just because he's a savant. And that's another thing. Squidward represents, okay, look, I'm just here to get paid. This is not I pray this isn't my career. I'm just here to get paid. He represents me so well. I don't go to none of these jobs and feel like, oh man, I would love to be here forever. Like, nah, I've put my time in. Like, every place that I've worked at, for the most part, I've put a lot of time and effort and years in, right? But I ain't there for nothing but the paper. So when I start hearing some shit like, oh, we're a family, culture, community, I start thinking, nah, you ain't got enough money for me to stay. You don't. Because once you start talking about culture and community, I'm thinking, that sounds expensive. Mentally, physically, emotionally, in a way where I'm not getting paid for. Nah. So Squidward, he's just there trying to get his bread. Okay? Squidward wants to get paid. Krabs ain't giving no raises, so he's just making whatever he can. And truth be told, Squidward is also that really hardworking employee who burns out somewhere because he looks at his life and he says, yo, things ain't going the way that I hoped. Things ain't going the way that I expected for myself. I am depressed. Now, Squidward's depressed. That's why he talks like this. Oh, SpongeBob, can you please leave me alone, SpongeBob? I am depressed. Squidward need a blunt. Straight up. Squidward if Squidward would, because that's what I needed. You see, There was a point where I was just going through and I just didn't understand what life was. And then and I was so anti-weed for so long. I'm telling you that I crucified people who smoked weed. I remember one time, my brother had a black and mild on top of his TV in the bedroom, and I was like flipping out on his ass, like, "Oh, you smoking blunt? You smoking weed now? You smoking weed now? Oh man." It's a black and mild because I'm ignorant. I'm like 16, 17 at the time. And then eventually I smoked and I realized, oh, okay. See, if Squidward would start toking up a little bit, his whole experience would change. He probably would like level up for real, because he's at a point where he needs something to help him change his perspective. But the point with him is that he's depressed. He's been working for crafts forever. Ain't no growth opportunities, and he ain't even looking for the next opportunity. He's just comfortable because he's making enough money to pay his bills, pay his mortgage, cop a new clarinet because he keep breaking them. He can't even afford lessons. You think, okay, everyone thinks he's just got so much pride. Okay, maybe he does got a lot of pride. Maybe he feels like he don't need no lessons. But you don't think that man don't recognize his shortcomings? You don't think that he knows that his clarinet playing could be better? I know he acts like it's the best thing ever, but he's alone. He ain't playing for nobody. This is a cartoon. So we're just flies on the wall while he's playing his clarinet trying to get it in. He ain't playing for nobody. I don't feel like he'd play for the public like that. I feel like Squidward, if he had the opportunity to, if he had the real actual people in his corner to actually support him, support his dreams, actually say, "Hey, bro, we are here for you. We want you to be the best clarinet player ever, blah, blah, blah." I feel like he could actually level up and become who he deserves to be, because that's exactly what his trajectory should be. But no, he's at the fucking Krusty Krab on that register, dealing with these fucking people. He's front of house. He dealing with these dumbass people. These dumbass people want a burger. I want a Krusty Krab. Okay, cool, bruh. I got a dumbass in the back to make the shit. You're going to have to wait until he get his shit in order. I don't know what he on today. He mentally touched. He I don't know what's up with him. He made the best burger. So I swear to you, if you wait, it's going to be up. The camera don't ever show all the times that Squidward be up front, like advocating for SpongeBob. Everyone just sees Squidward. SpongeBob. Like no one ever. You don't think Squidward's been up there having to really keep the ship afloat when motherfuckers is waiting 95 minutes for their burger because he's back there doing some goofy shit? You don't think that episode where he forgot how to make the Krabby Patty, you don't think Squidward was out there having to really keep the wolves off SpongeBob? You don't think there was some hungry people in that lobby that was on a lunch break that was losing critical eating time that wasn't finna hop over that counter and beat the shit out of SpongeBob? No. You know who kept him safe? Squidward. Because Squidward's empathy, unfortunately, is just as intact as his depression and his work ethic. So he's now trying to keep the wolves off of SpongeBob because he doesn't want nothing to happen to SpongeBob. He's not a bad person. He's just a person stuck in the Matrix. He's stuck in the Matrix. And since he's stuck in the Matrix, he is just doing what he can day by day until he dies. Squidward is the absolute representation of the average person who's not an influencer, not a fucking scammer, not a drug dealer, doesn't have an OnlyFans, doesn't fucking trade crypto or stocks or fucking have 4 or 5 regular businesses or what. Your regular person who gets into the workforce and gets a medium level job, who tries to work and blah, 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 blah. He and Squidward are as one. Squidward is our mascot. Okay? Squidward is our mascot. Think about the other people they try to crucify and paint in a certain light. Think about like Plankton. They make Plankton out to be this terrible person. They make him out to be the little guy. Literally, they make him out to be the little guy with the failing establishment across from Mr. Moneybag Crabs. Okay, so you literally have this behemoth over here, and you're just in your little shop trying to make stuff that you know you want to make. You want to make chum. All right, that's your bag. You like, I just want to sell chum, bruh. I ain't got no aspiration to make burgers or nothing. I just want to sell grade A chum, bruh. And there got to be a market for chum, because if there wasn't a market for chum, then why the hell would he have built the restaurant? He's a genius, right? Plankton's a genius. He's a super, quote unquote, super villain, right? But he's a genius. He's a genius. All these robotics he got and all these things that he built, he's a genius. You don't think he did some market research before he built his restaurant? No, he did some market research before he built his restaurant. And I guarantee you that before he even opened, he knew that this was going to be it. Okay. Now, market research and reality don't always coincide. So he opened this restaurant that's right across from one of the most popular restaurants in the entire Bikini Bottom. And that particular demographic apparently ain't into chum. My question is, why did he open up where all the other plankton is? Or is Bikini Bottom racist and he's the only plankton in town? Is he the only one of his kind? So is he so basically plankton is this prejudiced. He's basically segregated from the community. He's ostracized, and propaganda essentially makes it to where he is not only the bad guy, but he's this foreigner with foreign food. Yucky. This is America. Have a burger. Poor plankton. How about fucking Mrs. Puff? Mrs. Puff. Nobody thinks about Mrs. Puff. Nobody thinks about Mrs. Puff. Nobody thinks about Mrs. Puff. Think about Mrs. Puff. She's a driving instructor. She's a driving instructor. She is a teacher. She's an educator. She's probably put decades into her craft. Okay. She's a grown ass woman. I'm gonna say Mrs. Puff is probably like in her like mid 40s, maybe even early 50s. She put in her time. Mrs. Puff probably ready to retire. Right? Mrs. Puff probably got all kinds of awards for her tutelage and the things that she's achieved in the field of education, and specifically driver's education. Matter of fact, who's to say that all Mrs. Puff know how to do is teach people how to drive? Maybe Mrs. Puff was also an astrophysicist. You have no idea what Mrs. Puff has achieved. We just know her as the driving teacher on SpongeBob. But you know what? That's cool. Let's just leave it at that. They use her as a running gag punchline so SpongeBob can get his SpongeBob bullshit off, right? So every single time SpongeBob is in her class, he endangers the entire community. Why is he even allowed to take the class? Why has he not been banned from ever being behind the wheel of a boat ever again? But no, he's allowed to re-enroll over and over and over and over and over and over. And each time, this poor woman who was in her fucking 50s, if not 60s, Mrs. Puff might be old. So now we got this old woman who's been educating for 20, 30 years. And she's been successful with all of her students. She's been able to teach all of her students how to successfully drive. She has the highest success and pass rate out of all the teachers in Bikini Bottom. And here come this bitch ass nigga SpongeBob. Unteachable as fuck. And he's using his unteachable ass brain to torment the people in the class who's trying to learn, and this poor woman who can't teach someone who can't be taught. And she's tried so many times to the point that she ended up in prison. Mrs. Puff went to the pen, bro, over SpongeBob. Mrs. Puff lost her mind for a bit over SpongeBob. Mrs. Puff did a bid for real over SpongeBob SquarePants. And she absolutely has PTSD. Absolutely. But that show, it's about SpongeBob. So we're gonna allow him to have all his goofy adventures and isn't that so crazy? Oh, ha 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 ha, and end. And we're gonna go to the next episode. Okay. All of the people that SpongeBob affects negatively in his day-to-day life deserve some credit and some shine too. This is why I go back to my boy Squidward. Squidward is he. Squidward is him. Squidward deserves all the respect. Squidward is the average working human being, the average working adult out there who has done whatever they can to get where they are, and they're working hard as possible. But at a certain point, you realize that working any harder ain't gonna really pay off the way that you'd hope, because maybe you're just not in a predicament right now to get to that next level. So you coast, and that's what Squidward does. He coasts. He just he lets it happen. But does that mean that does that mean that he deserves it? No. Squidward is the ultimate victim, and SpongeBob is the ultimate villain. And yet no one would ever see it that way, except for me. But I mean, what more would you expect from... What more would you expect? What more would you expect? Let's uphold and herald the tyrant, and let's constantly make the regular everyday man the punchline. Like I said before, we are all Squidward, and Squidward deserves his respect. So, if you disagree, you can disagree. That's totally fine. If you think Squidward deserves what happens to him, that's totally fine. But you can't deny that as you've gotten older, if you're like me, when SpongeBob came out in 1999, I was what? How was I? I was like 11 when SpongeBob came out. So for me, you can say I kind of grew up with SpongeBob. So as someone who watched it as a child, and then as someone who watched it with a young child when I was like 18, 19, and then someone who could watch it periodically throughout my adult life. And then just now, just realizing like, yo, like SpongeBob's a piece of shit. And Squidward is an unsung hero. Until next time, breaking down barriers, but no content. This has been the Elliott in the Room live.